The year is 1947. World War II has just ended, but a new conflict is brewing, the Cold War. The United States needed a way to understand its enemies and protect its interests. This need led to the creation of the Central Intelligence Agency, or CIA. President Truman signed the National Security Act, bringing the CIA into existence. Its mission was clear: gather intelligence from around the world and conduct covert operations to counter threats. The CIA would become the eyes and ears of America, operating in the shadows to keep the nation safe. The CIA's early years were marked by a steep learning curve. The agency was built from scratch, piecing together experts from various wartime intelligence services. They faced the daunting task of infiltrating the Soviet Union and its allies, a closed society shrouded in secrecy. The Cold War was a battle of ideologies, and information became a crucial weapon. The CIA's role in gathering that information would prove vital in shaping the course of history. The Cold War became the defining conflict of the CIA's early years. This global chess match between the United States and the Soviet Union played out on multiple fronts: espionage, propaganda, and proxy wars. The CIA found itself deeply involved in covert operations aimed at undermining Soviet influence. From supporting anti-communist movements to orchestrating coups d'état, the agency's actions were often controversial and shrouded in secrecy. One of the CIA's most well-known operations during this era was the 1961 Bay of Pigs invasion. The mission aimed to overthrow Fidel Castro's communist regime in Cuba. The CIA trained and equipped a force of Cuban exiles to invade the island. However, the operation was a disastrous failure. The invasion force was quickly defeated, and the incident became a major embarrassment for the United States. The Bay of Pigs fiasco had far-reaching consequences. It heightened tensions with the Soviet Union and pushed Cuba closer to the Soviet sphere of influence. This ultimately led to the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962, perhaps the closest the world has ever come to nuclear war. The Soviet Union began installing nuclear missiles in Cuba just 90 miles from U.S. shores. President John F. Kennedy faced an unprecedented crisis. The CIA played a critical role during the Cuban Missile Crisis. U-2 spy planes, flown and operated by the CIA, captured photographic evidence of the Soviet missile sites in Cuba. This intelligence was crucial in confirming Soviet intentions and providing President Kennedy with the evidence he needed to confront the Soviets. After tense negotiations, the Soviet Union agreed to remove the missiles, averting a potential nuclear catastrophe. Section 4. Reform and Reassessment. The 1970s brought a period of intense scrutiny for the CIA. Public distrust of the government was at an all-time high, fueled by the Watergate scandal and revelations of intelligence abuses. The Church Committee, a Senate committee led by Senator Frank Church, launched a major investigation into the CIA's activities. The committee's findings were shocking. The Church Committee uncovered a pattern of illegal activities and abuses of power by the CIA. These included assassination plots against foreign leaders, domestic spying on American citizens, and involvement in coups and regime change operations. The revelations sparked outrage and led to calls for reform and oversight. Congress passed new laws to restrict the CIA's powers and increase congressional oversight of its activities. Section 5. The War on Terror and Beyond. The September 11th terrorist attacks in 2001 fundamentally reshaped the intelligence landscape and the CIA's mission. The attacks exposed intelligence failures and highlighted the growing threat of transnational terrorism. The United States embarked on a global war on terror, with the CIA playing a central role in combating Al-Qaeda and other terrorist groups. In the aftermath of 9/11, Congress passed the Intelligence Reform and Terrorism Prevention Act of 2004. This legislation created the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, which was tasked with coordinating the activities of the entire U.S. intelligence community. The CIA's role evolved with a greater focus on counterterrorism, intelligence analysis, and covert operations against terrorist networks. The CIA continues to adapt to a rapidly changing world. New threats, from cyber warfare to the resurgence of great power competition, present new challenges for intelligence gathering and analysis. The CIA's mission remains as vital as ever: to provide policymakers with the intelligence they need to make informed decisions and keep the nation safe in an increasingly complex and dangerous world.